Hello guys, Bolton here and welcome to a card review. This is going to be a new thing that we're going to be trying out on the channel, and what better way to start off than the most recently reviewed cards from the Requiem of Destruction. That is the new normal Reptile support card. So let's get started with that. We're going to be talking about the cards first and then what my thoughts on them are, and then finally we're going to be going into a sample deck utilizing the new cards. Firstly, we're going to be talking about these three normal monsters. The Sannomiya Golden G Robo Mark III, the Alien 33, and the 3 Warp Granny Sisters. These aren't very interesting. These are level 3 light reptile normal monsters that's going to be relevant for other cards later on. But they're only relevant because they are level 3 normal monsters that are reptile monsters. And they're good for support cards and not much else. Their stat lines are okay for their level. The highest attack among these is 1300, and that is higher than the previous highest level 3 normal reptile available, that is the Yormungarde, which is 1200, and then the Mark III has 1500 defense, which is the highest available for any normal reptile available at the given moment, which is an interesting need for this one to have. Because they're level 3, you can special summon them off Necromancy, and because they are normal reptiles, you can special summon add them rather off of something like a Mantisleon or a Hot Flame Leon if you choose to run those. Overall, these are just level 3s. Level 3 normal monsters, they're okay. They're fine. They're just here for support cards mostly on their own. They're not very interesting. Speaking of not very interesting, we have the Alien count of the White Dwarf Saint Germain. This is a level 7 with 2500 attack. That is a light reptile normal monster and has 1300 defense. Secret Order target, not much else to say about it. Secret Order is a very powerful card, and obviously having a reptile themed target for it is pretty good for the deck. And with other cards available with the new support and whatnot, having reptile typing can be pretty important. Notably, this is another light attribute, 2500 attack Secret Order target. The other typings need more. The other attributes rather, water needs more, for example. They literally don't have a single one, and yeah, we just need to give more to those attributes instead of light, which has 4 now. Crazy. Just importantly, Secret Order target for reptiles. The more interesting cards here, the spells, the 300 Light-Year Red Cloak. This one, if there are 3 face-up reptile monsters on the field, you can activate it. Then all face-up reptile monsters on the field gain 300 attack until the end of the turn. Then if your opponent has 3000 or more life points than you can also choose a face-up no monster on your opponent's field and destroy it. Now, the most interesting part about this is that it's removal. The problem is, if you want to play removal, there's an easier way to do it called Gem Set. That card doesn't care how much life points you're at. You can use it when you're ahead. You can bounce something instead of destroying it, which means that your opponent can Phoenix Dragon it back. It also comes with additional graveyard hit, which is pretty good as well. And this doesn't have any of that. The only upside it has over something like Gem Set is the fact that it buffs your reptiles by 300. Fantastic, wow, lovely. I really wanted my guys to have 300 more attack. It is useful for something like Saint Germain if you didn't Secret Order it out. That implies you didn't Secret Order your Saint Germain, which, sure, I guess. It's useful in some situations. I just think that it's a bit too clunky. And you're better off playing something like Gem Set if you want the removal. And I don't think the attack boost is going to come up that often also. So this will not see that much play. You can consider playing one-off though. I think it's fine as a one-off card, though I would also consider playing other cards in that slot because I'd probably want to actually fit in a lot more different types of spells. The actually good card among this batch, the Third Coming of the Reptilian count. This card is fantastic. You can activate it by shuffling 3 level 3 or lower reptile normal monsters from your grave back into the deck. And then you can choose a reptile monster in your grave and special summon it to your field face up. So that's why we needed the normal monsters from before, the 3 that we talked about earlier on. They fit the bill for level 3 or lower reptile normal monsters, and you can shuffle those back in the deck to get a very powerful effect that is reborning any reptile monster in your grave. Any. If it's not just normal monsters, you can revive Ecdysis Caliguleon or other things that you will have to look at. Ecdysis Caliguleon is just like the generally best target you can have of this because it is already quite big and lets you deal big damage. people were playing Monster Reborn with Stone Excavation to revive specifically Caliguleon, and this lets you do that without wasting your Legend slot. Not necessarily wasting per se, Reborn is a very powerful card, but it means that you aren't going to lock yourself specifically to Reborn for this. You can play something like a Mirror Force or a Graceful Charity and whatnot instead of Reborn. This is just overall very powerful. It doesn't just special summon the high levels, you can also choose some lower level options given you have the utility in those slots like a Clawleon or something. Which is pretty good depending on what other future reptiles that we get for the strategy. We have a few small here, the area 33. What this does is if you control 2 or more level 3 or lower reptile normal monsters, you can activate this, then while this card is face up in the field zone, reptile normal monsters on field gain 600 attack. I think this doesn't boost enough. You don't have enough good reptile normal monsters for this to be good enough. If you have like one more 2 tribute normal reptile monster, then I could see this card seeing play. But as it stands, you also need 2 or more level 3 or lower reptile normal monsters on the field, which can be kind of awkward. There is enough where you can probably reliably activate it if you build the deck to do that. But I think the payoff isn't there. Like, Creek doesn't see play because it doesn't boost enough. Like, obviously boosting by 600 is pretty substantial, but it's boosting something like at 1300 attack monster, that's not particularly impressive. It only goes up to 1900. And if you're playing against a deck that swarms the field with 2500 attack monsters, running a deck that swarms the field with 1900 attack monsters feels kind of silly. The upside to this compared to Creek is that it buffs your Saint Germain as well, but again, you do want like maybe 1 extra 2 tribute reptile normal monster for this to see a decent amount of success in my opinion. And finally, the last card is a trap, the 3 Moonlit Mystery Geckos. What this does is if there is a face-up level 3 or lower reptile normal monster on the field, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can activate this card, then you can choose a face-up reptile monster on your field. Until the end of the turn, it gets 1000 attack per the number of face-up reptile monsters on your field. This is actually kind of substantial. If you're looking for a reptile trap, this is really good. It makes all your normal monsters beat Secret Order, which is pretty strong. The downside is you do need a level 3 or lower reptile normal monster on your field. But there are many ways to get them onto the field, Necromancy, Mantisleon, or just hard drawing into them if you really need to. So it's not the end of the world. It's not like the hardest requirement possible. Overall, just like super strong, like in a piece of interaction, definitely worth considering if you want a battle trap of this caliber. Here is a sample list that you can use the new cards in. The goal of the deck is to utilize the power of having 6 reborn spells at your disposal to make big beat sticks and punch your opponent with your big beat sticks. Notably, this is sounding quite similar to Gate Order. The difference is you can actually use effect monsters and you can special summon said effect monsters. Namely, the third coming of the Reptilian Count can special summon the Caliguleon, which is the best target in the deck. Gets really big on its own, and is just a annoying ass card to play with. He's big, and sometimes your opponent isn't prepared, he will be annoying to out. Unfortunately, the good decks in the format can out it. But, you know, it's still a big guy. It's still a big beat stick that does big things. Secret Order can only special summon the Saint Germain, unlike the third coming of Reptilian Count, which can summon all 7 of our boss monsters here, but Secret Order will still be able to give our Saint Germain trap protection and that 700 extra attack, so let it beat over other monsters. We are also running the 3 copies of Scale Liberation to recycle these 6 reborn spells, very powerful card, to be able to make sure we can get our Caliguleons on field and just punch them even harder. 9 different level 3 reptile monsters that are normal monsters in the deck. The 3 copies of the Granny Sisters, 3 copies of Yormungarde, 3 copies of the Mark III. These are just normal monsters, they're not particularly interesting here, they're just here to fuel the third coming of the Reptilian Count. Specifically Mark III over Alien 33 because I just value the utility that the defense that has here. Because we already have a couple beat sticks in the deck and I don't feel like I want another beat stick here. Or rather, I don't feel like I need another beat stick. So just having the higher defense one, if you ever set it and your opponent runs into it with like a cannon soldier or something, can be pretty handy. 3 Mantisleon, they are just here to mill the deck honestly. If you don't care if you hit with it or not, you don't care whether you actually get to recycle the normal monster, just kind of as milling your deck, finding your pieces, finding your Caliguleons, finding your level 3s, finding your Secret Orders, just finding your Saint Germains to be able to revive them later on with your cards. That's mainly what it's here for. It's nice if you get to hit it. There are 12 different normal monsters that will proc the Mantisleon should you be able to resolve the effect, which is nice if you get to get it off, but otherwise it's not that big of a deal if you whiff on it. One copy of Clawleon. This is here as a tech option off of the coming same with the Predator Gunleon. These are here for HK scenarios. Clawleon is here if you want to end the game. If you get to empty your monster zones and you get to activate the third coming of Reptilian count, special summoning the Clawleon, because you don't need to just special summon high levels with it. You can summon the Clawleon and you can activate effect mill 2 and give something piercing to be able to deal your opponent the finishing blow that way. Gunleon is here for a different reason. It is here for edge case scenarios where you have the life points necessary to be able to OTK with it. You do have 3 copies at Raid Skill Liberation, both to set up your grave for the Secret Order and for the third coming Reptilian count. But also in the edge case scenario where you are able to get down to 1000 lower life points, you can use the Raid Skill Liberation to get you to that point. Then revive the Gunleon with something like the third coming of the Reptilian count, and then OTK that way, which is definitely a very strong option to have at your disposal. But it doesn't come up that often in theory. I'll see how I feel about it in the future after I test with it some more. There are other options available that are reptiles. They're not particularly strong here. The Flyleon is okay, has lower stats, but it is able to help you end the game faster, similar to the Clawleon here, which might be enough reason for you to try it out. You can also play the Rocket Tortoise Modulaculon. There we go. Lets you empty your hand, just get rid of your excess monsters to be able to special summon onto those zones. The only problem with that one is that it's a level 8, so I've chosen to avoid it because we're not even on that many ship targets in the first place. And just like these 4 ship targets felt enough. I would consider trying out the Rocket Tortoise just because it's like generally more useful. But I do like the utility that having Gunleon in rotation gives me in case it gets to the point where I can actually activate it. 3 copies of Amazing Dealer, just good consistency, very good card for a deck like this that wants to really find their pieces and find their reborns, get those guys onto the field as much as possible, and Amazing Dealer really helps us dig through our deck for that reason. We're also on the Aegis of the 5 houses to protect our Caliguleon and our Gunleon. And finally, Graceful Charity. We don't need to play Reborn anymore because it's redundant with the third coming. Graceful just helps us dig deeper into our deck. There are all the options you can play, obviously. A Mirror Force is very strong, and I've been considering Tribute to the Doomed as well, just to help beat your opponent's setting monsters and passing. And that's just the deck. This has potential, I'll be honest. It dodges Imitating Crisis because Caliguleon is a level 8. And it's kind of fast. In test stands, this has felt the flow of the deck is quite fast. It can really burn through the deck really quickly, especially with the Enraged skill liberations. And really deals a lot of damage in a single turn, provided the best scenarios. And overall, this deck has potential, has the possibility to be doing pretty decently moving into the next format, but we'll have to see based on what other cards get revealed for this set. That'll do it for the video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.